driving crash. He received 10 years probation after causing an accident that took the lives of 4 people. A psychologist testified that the young man had been raised in a household where his parents gave him whatever he wanted. Well, now Los Angeles State Assemblyman Mike Gatto has introduced a bill that would exclude factoring in a person's privilege into their sentencing. Mike Gatto joins us now from L.A. Mike, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I think I am not alone here. I did not know that your wealth or your financial status could ever be used or factored into your sentencing until this case.
Yeah, I think most people realize intuitively that there are 2 justice systems in this country. There's one for the privileged and one for the ones not so privileged. And there's only so much that we as lawmakers can do on certain advantages that the wealthy might have, you know, access to better lawyers and knowledge of the justice system. But you're right, you know, when these things start to be described as syndromes that are akin to handicaps, the notion that a spoiled upbringing is a handicap, you know, I think it's appropriate for the legislatures to step in and do something about it.
Was this your first time hearing such a case? I mean, reading this kid's background, the therapist who testified that he suffered from affluenza pointed out that his parents taught him that rather than apologizing, you would give someone something or pay someone, and that he lived in a home where the mother simply focused on the accumulation of goods and luxury as opposed to a moral barometer or moral compass that would be needed, I imagine, in parenting any kid.
Unfortunately, it's not the example, not the first example. My staff was able to find cases dating back to the 1920s where wealthy defendants introduced this concept that they're not aware of the consequences of their actions, and we're able to get a less sentence because of it.
Yeah, do we see the counter? I mean, does someone's sentence get reduced then if this has been around and you've seen cases that far back? Have we seen cases where someone was able to get off from killing someone saying, hey, I was poor and my dad left me and my mom was terrible too?
Well, it depends. You know, I think our laws need to reflect society's values, and most people in society say that this notion that a spoiled upbringing somehow entitles you to a lesser sentence is ridiculous. Yeah. There's ample precedent for society, through our lawmakers, stepping in and limiting these ridiculous defenses. In the 1980s, in response to the proliferation of all the not guilty by reason of insanity, California by statute limited that defense, and there's other examples as well. I
cannot imagine you're getting a lot of people who are opposed to this idea, but I'll have to ask it. What kind of support are you getting?
Oh, you'd be surprised. You know, nothing's easy in Sacramento, California, our capital.
Yes.
You know, even something like this that most people say should be a no-brainer, there's a lot of people who seem to intuitively have issues with it. Our law is written very clearly. The proposal we have just says that evidence of an affluent or overly permissive upbringing should not be entered or considered by a court of law at any phase for, you know, its sentencing or at the trial phase by a defendant or a defense attorney.
All right, we'll see where this legislation goes, Mike. I really appreciate you joining us today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.